So there you are in your 50s, 60s, or perhaps even older, and you start thinking to yourself that you'd like to get a bit of exercise, maybe save a few quid on the fuel bill, or reduce your carbon footprint, or possibly even have a little bit of fun along the way. But what activity springs to mind? What a stumper. Now you could of course go jogging, but that sounds a little bit hard. And then you suddenly remember that you've got an old mountain bike from 1990 stuck in the back of the garage. A heavenly choir starts singing and a divine light starts shining down. But then 3 seconds later you start thinking, oh, it's going to be hard to get out, I don't know if it works, all that huffing and puffing, the lycra, the nutter drivers, and before you know it, you've talked yourself out of it. You heave a sigh of resignation, take a sip of your tea, treat yourself to another hobnob, and think to yourself how nice it would have been getting out in the fresh air on that bike. Sadly, if that is you, you could potentially be missing out on something absolutely fantastic. Cycling really does have the power to change people's lives in many ways. Yes, there are health benefits. Yes, it will help you save money and the planet, and you can have some fun along the way. Why on earth would you want to miss out on that? As human beings, it's very easy to talk ourselves out of things that we're not too sure about. And I can imagine that if you haven't been on a bike for a while, the thought of cycling again can be pretty intimidating. We can come up with literally hundreds of reasons of why cycling is not for us. But basically, it all boils down to two basic ones: perception and confidence. And the good news is that both of those can be fairly easily overcome. Today, the word cyclist conjures up many images. For some, it's skinny lads on road bikes, while for others, it's aggressive road warriors battling through busy traffic. The problem is that this isn't the entire spectrum. Many people thinking about taking up cycling seem to feel that they need to fit in somewhere on this line, and for them it's just a step too far. Basically, they just don't see themselves as cyclists. The bottom line is that anyone that rides a bike is a cyclist. And yes, that can be the skinny lad on a super lightweight carbon road bike gunning for a PR. But it could equally be some little old lady on a shopper bike nipping down to Tesco's for a tin of cat food. I can guarantee that there will be somewhere on that line that you will feel comfortable. Choosing what bike to ride is another area where people struggle. Yes, everyone wants to ride the perfect bike, and that's all fine and dandy, but what does that mean exactly? Do you want something fast? Do you want something comfortable? Or do you want something strong? A quick conversation with your local bike shop should clear up most, if not all, of these questions. If you already own a bike, I would suggest going out and riding that first before you start worrying about it not being the perfect bike for you. Assuming that it's in full working order, it has the advantage of being completely free and readily available for you to use. So don't worry about what you're wearing, although I would strongly recommend wearing a helmet. Just go out and try it for size. If it's not right, you can always make adjustments later. Another thing people fret about is the perception that cycling is going to be hard work and they won't be fit enough to do it. Now, if you're getting into cycling to improve your fitness, it will need to be a little bit tough for it to do its magic. But what you won't need to do is spend every single waking moment pushing yourself to your limits. 2 or 3 sessions a week where you get mildly out of breath for about 20 minutes each time is more than enough to improve your fitness. The beauty of cycling is that it can be as easy or as hard as you want it to be. So having overcome all of the perception issues, now comes the confidence. For many of us, the main concern is riding in traffic and general road safety. And the good news here is that because most of us are already motorists, we already understand the rules of the road. Pretty much exactly the same rules apply to bikes as they do to cars, but obviously being on two wheels and not having a protective metal box around you means that you're pretty vulnerable. The simple answer here is don't ride on busy roads. I would suggest for your first rides choosing roads that have little or no traffic, and once you feel confident riding on those, then you can build up to busier ones. If you are using the bike for your daily commute, it might be a good idea not to take the same roads you would have done using the car. Perhaps there's a quieter back road or even a cycle path you could take. At the end of the day, you don't have to use your bike for every single commuting journey. If you think it's going to be busy or dangerous, just leave the bike at home. On the other hand, if you're riding your bike for fitness or for fun, you can pick and choose the roads you ride on. But if you're really concerned, why ride on the road at all? Many cities these days have parks and green spaces in which you can ride in complete safety, not to mention plenty of off-road routes as well. Sometimes worrying about what we look like and what other people think about us can be a bit of a concern, particularly if we're overweight. Let me say now that this is a complete waste of time. Ultimately, you will be the only person that loses out if this is what's standing between you and your cycling. For the most part, complete strangers won't give you a second thought. They'll simply be too busy with their own lives to worry about someone they see for 3 nanoseconds out of the corner of their eye. If you really don't want to ride, then don't. It's as simple as that. But I'm guessing that's not you, because you wouldn't be here watching this film otherwise. Being a little wary and having a few healthy concerns is actually a good thing, as it stops us from jumping in too soon and making any potential mistakes that could put us off cycling completely. What you don't want to do is let those healthy concerns become full-blown reasons not to cycle. At the end of the day, you need to see the excuses for what they are. Barriers that can and for the most part should be overcome. Thanks for watching.